So Caitanya Caritamrta Adi 132. Before that, we'll sing the invocation mantra. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Jaya Krishna Jaya Nityananda.
Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Lord Krishna enjoys by manifesting himself as spiritual masters. The devotees, the diverse energies, the incarnations, and the plenary portions. They are all 6 in 1. We covered this briefly last time. Now let's go to the next one. Echaya Tatvera Kari Charana Vandana.
Echaya Tatvera Karicharana Vandana.
Prarthana Samaye Kari Mangala Charana.
Atamita Manyakari Mangala Charana.
So this is the Mangala Charan. Means benedictions. Therefore worship the lotus feet of 6 diversities of one truth. So diversity means differences of one truth. Truth is always one, Param Satyam. But then he manifests as devotees, as all the 6 energies that we talked about in the last verse, which is as spiritual masters, devotees, diverse energies, incarnations, and the plenary portions. Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan.
Vande Gurun Isha Bhaktan.
Isham Ishavatarakan.
Isham Isha Avatarakan.
Yat Prakashamscha Tak Chaktihi.
Tat Prakashamscha Tat Shaktihi.
Krishna Chaitanya Samanyakam.
Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto spiritual masters, devotees, Lord incarnations, plenary portions, his energies, and primeval Lord himself, Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So previously it was description, now he's paying obeisances to these 6 different individuals. So we read this last time, so I don't want to. Did we read this last time?
Yes, Prabhu, I think we read.
Yeah, we read it, right? Okay, let's move forward. Mantra Guru Arayata Shiksha Guru Ganam.
Mantra Guru Arayata Shiksha Guru Gana.
Anara Charana Age Kariya Vandana.
Anara Charana Age Kariye Vandana.
I first offer my respectful obeisances to lotus feet of my initiating spiritual masters, and then to all my instructing spiritual masters. So whenever we do this, whoever is teaching us, we should pay respects to them, and whoever has initiated us, we should pay respects to them. Right? Okay, Shiva, please read.
Hare Krishna. Purport. Srila Jiva Goswami, in his thesis Bhakti Sandarbha, has stated that uncontaminated devotional service is the objective of pure Vaishnavas, and that one has to execute such service in the association of other devotees. By associating with devotees of Lord Krishna, one develops a sense of Krishna consciousness and thus becomes inclined toward the loving service of the Lord. True. This is the process of approaching the Supreme Lord by gradual appreciation in devotional service. If one desires unalloyed devotional service, one must associate with the devotees of Sri Krishna. By such association only can a conditioned soul achieve a taste for transcendental love and thus revive his eternal relationship with Godhead in a specific manifestation, and in terms of the specific transcendental melo rasa that one has eternally inherent in him. If one develops love for Krishna by Krishna conscious activities, one can know the supreme absolute truth. But he who tries to understand God simply by logical arguments will not succeed, nor will he get a taste for unalloyed devotion. The secret is that one must submissively listen to those who know perfectly the signs of God, and one must begin the mode of service regulated by the preceptor. A devotee, already attracted by the name, form, qualities, etc., of the Supreme Lord, may be directed to his specific manner of devotional service. He need not waste time in approaching the Lord through logic. The expert spiritual master knows well how to engage his disciples' energy in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Thus, he engages a devotee in a specific devotional service according to his special tendency. A devotee must have only one initiating spiritual master because in the scriptures, acceptance of more than one is always forbidden. There is no limit, however, to the number of instructing spiritual masters one may accept. Generally, a spiritual master who constantly instructs a disciple in spiritual science becomes his initiating spiritual master later on. One should always remember that a person who is reluctant to accept a spiritual master and be initiated is sure to baffled in his endeavor to go back to Godhead. One who is not properly initiated may present himself as a great devotee, but in fact, he is sure to encounter many stumbling blocks on his path of progress towards spiritual realization, with the result that he must continue his term of material existence without relief. Such a helpless person is compared to a ship without rudder, for such a ship can never reach its destination. It is imperative, therefore, that one accept a spiritual master if he at all desires to gain the favor of the Lord. The service of the spiritual master is essential if there is no chance to serve the spiritual master directly. A devotee should serve him by remembering his instructions. Okay. There is no difference between the spiritual master's instructions and the spiritual master himself. In his absence, therefore, his words of direction should be the pride of the disciple. If one thinks that he is above consulting anyone else, including a spiritual master, he is at once an offender at the lotus feet of the Lord. Such an offender can never go back to Godhead. It is imperative that a serious person accept a bona fide spiritual master in terms of the sastric injunctions. Sri Jiva Goswami advises that one not accept a spiritual master in terms of hereditary or customary social and ecclesiastical conventions. One should simply try to find a genuinely qualified spiritual master for actual achievement in a spiritual understanding.
So we should all look for a spiritual master and surrender to his instructions. Right? That is in terms of Shastric injunction. Shastra says we should do it, therefore we should do it. And it's not like a hereditary. My father's spiritual master is my spiritual master. It's not hereditary. It is based on the qualities of the spiritual master that you have around you. Basically, you cannot say that this is our family spiritual master, so everybody will follow. What if the family spiritual master dies? Right? So spiritual master's instructions means spiritual master should be there somewhere around, accessible via email or by phone or in person, some or the other, right? So there is no difference between spiritual master instructions and spiritual master himself, right? So that's very, very important to know. So ship without a rudder, if there is no rudder, ship can never reach its destination. So spiritual master is that individual who gives you that guidance. Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha
Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunatha
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunatha.
My instructing spiritual masters are, you see the point, instructing. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami took several instructing spiritual masters. Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Bhatta Raghunatha, Sri Jiva Goswami, Gopala Bhatta Goswami. So although you see Bhatta twice, they are different. One is Bhatta Raghunatha, one is Gopala Bhatta. And then Srila Raghunath Dasa Goswami. So he's saying that I'm learning from everybody, either through their bodily presence or through their instructions in their books. You see the point? Because by the time Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami came on the planet, not all of these people were on the planet, right? Some of them were there, some of them were not there. Echai Guru Shiksha Guru Ye Amara.
Echaya Guru Siksha Guru Ye Amara.
Tan Sabara Pada Padme Koti Namaskara.
Tan Sabara Pada Padme Koti Namaskara.
So Koti means unlimited, right? Large number. 1 crore in India is called Koti. So you are giving 1 crore of namaskaras. Right? Tan Sabara for everyone, Pada Padme. For their Pada means leg, Padme means lotus-like legs. These are my 6 instructing spiritual masters, and therefore I offer millions of respectful obeisances unto their lotus feet. By accepting the 6 Goswamis, the author specifically makes it clear that one should not be recognized as Gaudiya Vaishnava if he is not obedient to them. So Gaudiya Vaishnavas means people who are following Vishnu, they should be obedient to these 6 spiritual masters. So that's why when I show the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas, all those 6 spiritual masters have written books and songs. By singing them, we become closer to God. Bhagavanera Bhakta Yata Srivasa Pradhana.
Bhagavanira Bhakta Yata Shivasa Pradhana.
Remember in the Panchatattva, we said Srivas Thakur is the Bhakti potency.
Devotee.
Like he is a devotee, right? He is not a form of the Lord. The remaining 4 are either the Lord or his expansion Mahavishnu or his internal potency Radharani. But Srivas Thakur is not a Bhagavan Tattva. He is Bhakta Tattva, means he is Jiva. Tan Sabara Pada Padme Sahasra Pranama.
Tan Sabara Pada Padme Sahasra Pranama.
So Srivas Thakur is Pradhana. Pradhana means first. But there are other Bhagavan's bhaks. So you give them at their Pada Padma, Sahasra means thousands of pranama. There you give for the Supreme Lord, you give Koti pranama. Right? So they are innumerable devotees of the Lord. Srivas Thakur is foremost. Respectful obeisances thousands of times. Advaita Acharya Prabhura Amsa Avatara.
Advaita Acharya Prabhu Hamsa Avatara.
Tandra Pada Padme Koti Pranati Amara.
Tandra Pada Padme Koti Pranati Amara.
So Advaita Acharya is partial incarnation. Who is he? Remember from last time?
Yeah, he's the incarnation. He's Sankarshna Prabhu.
No, from
Sankarshna.
Sankarshana's incarnation, Mahavishnu, right? Remember, Advaita Acharya is Mahavishnu. So from Sankarshana comes Mahavishnu. Advaita Acharya is incarnation of Mahavishnu, not Garbhodakshay Vishnu or Kshirodakshay Vishnu. So, I mean, it is fine detail, but it's good to know, right? Ultimately, Vishnu is Vishnu, but this fine detail.
Yeah, so yes, Prabhu, in 12th text it says Lord Advaita Acharya is the incarnation of Mahavishnu. Yes, Prabhu.
So it is important to kind of maintain that distinction between Maha and Garbhodakshay and Kshirodakshay. Nityananda Raya Prabhura Swarupa Prakasha.
Nityananda Raya Prabhu Parasarupa Prakasa.
Tandra Pada Padma Vando Yanra Munidasa.
Tandra Pada Padma Bandho Yandra Munidasa.
So Nityananda Ram is plenary manifestation of the Lord. And remember what he says? Swarupa Prakasha. So the Lord is almost like the Lord, right? Lord Swarupa is Prakasha, means expanding. So plenary manifestation of the Lord, and I have been initiated by him. Therefore, I offer my respectful obeisance unto his lotus feet. So I didn't know this. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has been initiated directly by Nityananda Ram. Okay? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has initiated Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, right? So that's why Nityananda Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he takes Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami as Shiksha Gurus. Because right there, Krishna is in, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is initiating some, and Nityananda Prabhu is initiating some. So technically, we are also initiated by Krishna and Balaram in form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. But we need a blood and flesh guru, right? Somebody who can track us. Those are our spiritual masters. Like I got initiated by one spiritual master. You may get initiated too, like that, right? But ultimately, it's all coming from Nityananda Ram and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gadadara Panditadi Prabhura Nija Shakti.
Gadadara Panditadi Prabhura Nija Shakti.
Ansabara Charane Mora Sahasra Pranati.
Ansabara Charane Mora Sahasra Pranati.
Sahasra means thousands. So, who is Gadadhar Pandit? To the internal potency of the Lord. So, she is Radharani. But again, in the current world, she is coming as in the male body. But ultimately, she is internal potency of the Lord. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Swayam Bhagavan.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Swayam Bhagavan.
Tanara Padare Vinde Ananta Pranamam.
Tanara Padara Vinde Ananta Pranama.
So for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it is not millions, it is not thousands, it is Ananta, means unlimited number of pranamas. So in our mind, we should say, Tanara Padare Vinde Ananta Pranama. So, Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So his name is also Sri Krishna, but because he comes as a devotee, Chaitanya means he is expanding the devotion, and Mahaprabhu. So we are all, call each other Prabhu's masters, but he's Mahaprabhu, master of all the masters. So he has come as a devotee, master of all masters, but ultimately he is also Sri Krishna only, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. His personality of Godhead himself, and therefore I offer innumerable prostrations. Means you cannot count, Ananta, at his lotus feet. Savarane Prabhure Kariya Namaskaram.
Savarane Prabhure Kariya Namaskar.
Echayate no yache Kariya Vicharam.
Echayate no yache kariye vichara.
Having offered obeisance unto Lord and all his associates, I shall now try to explain the 6 diversities. So previously just mentioned them like an index. Now he's going to give more detail. Sarvana, read.
Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. There are many unalloyed devotees of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all of whom are considered associates surrounding the Lord. Krishna should be worshipped with his devotees. The diverse principles are therefore the eternal paraphernalia through which the absolute truth can be approached.
Yeah. So 6 diverse principles are, you can go directly to Krishna, but he may not acknowledge you. But if you go through devotees, he may acknowledge you. That's why all these 6 principles are important. You cannot just say, right? A lot of times in modern Hinduism, they say, yeah, I don't need to go through anybody. I'll directly go to Krishna temple and I will pray to him. Like one person even told me, yeah, I don't need anybody to do puja for me. I'll directly do it. Yeah, but will Krishna accept you? I mean, in your current state? May not be, right? That's why it is better to go through lower layers first and then gradually work to the higher layers.
Yeah, even in the material world, it's like that, right, Prabhu? So
Even
you
material
cannot be
world, yeah. You cannot directly reach the CEO. The fellow will say, sorry, I recently reached a CEO. He said, sorry, I don't know the details. I would rather you work with my team, right? So he pushed me back. So in the middle world, you cannot go to the CEO. No way. Okay. Yadyapi Amara Guru Chaitanya Radhasam.
यद्यपि हमारा गुरु चैतन्य दासा
तथापि जानीये आमी तानरा prakasha.
तथापि जानीये आमी तानारा प्रकाश.
Although I know my spiritual master is servitor of Sri Chaitanya, I know him also as a plenary manifestation of the Lord. So he's saying my guru, because he directly didn't get initiated from Chaitanya. His guru is Nityananda. Nityananda is servant of Chaitanya, right? Only Chaitanya is number one. Everybody else is following. So he's saying even my guru is a servant of Chaitanya, but I also know him as the plenary manifestation. So he's the expansion of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's internal energy. So Nityananda Prabhu is the first expansion. That's why he is sometimes called the Guru, the Adi Guru. Although Krishna is Guru of everyone, but then from a practical perspective, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the knowledge like that. Okay, Shiva, read.
Perfect. Every living entity is essentially a servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the spiritual master is also his servant. Still, the spiritual master is a direct manifestation of the Lord. With this conviction, a disciple can advance in Krishna consciousness. The spiritual master is non-different from Krishna because he is a manifestation of Krishna. Lord Nityananda, who is Balarama himself, the first direct manifestation or expansion of Krishna, is the original spiritual master. He helps Lord Krishna in his pastimes and he is a servant of the Lord. Every living entity is eternally a servant of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Therefore, the spiritual master cannot be other than a servant of Lord Chaitanya. The spiritual master's eternal occupation is to expand the service of the Lord by training disciples in a service attitude. A spiritual master never poses as the spiritual Lord himself. He is considered a representative of the Lord. The revealed scriptures prohibit one's pretending to be God, but a bona fide spiritual master is a most faithful and confidential servant of the Lord and therefore deserves as much respect as Krishna.
Yeah, so very good. So spiritual master deserves as much respect as Krishna. And in the songs it says Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastrair. So means he is the representation of all the Shastras. I mean, if the spiritual master is the correct spiritual master, not anybody who just comes and says he's the spiritual master. Spiritual master means he should have spent decades and decades in service of Krishna, then he becomes a spiritual master. You get the point? So the spiritual masters in ISKCON, they have spent like 30, 40 years. And at that point, they are willing to and are able to give this knowledge. Right? This is the song that we are supposed to sing every morning. Samsara dava lalita loka pranaya karunya gana ganatvam. So what is the meaning? The spiritual master is receiving benediction from ocean of mercy. Krishna is the ocean of mercy, but the mercy flows through the spiritual master, right? Sometimes you may have Ganga in the Himalayas, but unless she flows in form of Ganga river and then it comes to Prayag, you cannot touch that water, right? So it has to come through all these hills and various towns and all that. So spiritual master delivers the materially afflicted world by extinguishing the blazing fire of material existence. So our day-to-day activities compared to a blazing fire, nothing goes on properly, right? You want X, you'll get Y. You want to work in one company, you will get job in second company. So nobody will get what he wants. And then it is like a fire. All the time you are unhappy that you wanted to do this, but you cannot do it. And if your career is good, then family life may not be good. If family life is good, then kids marriage may not be good. So there is nobody who is not in this blazing fire of material existence. So what does spiritual master do? He delivers. Delivers means he says, okay, I will take you out of this material world if you follow my instructions. Which is what? Chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavad Gita every day, giving up bad habits like meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, those things. So spiritual master delivers by teaching, right? And what does spiritual master do? So spiritual master practices what he preaches. He chants the holy name, dances, singing, playing musical instruments, right? So always gladdened by Sankirtana movement, chanting on the streets, which we used to do but not doing anymore, COVID, or at least that's an excuse. And he's always engaged what? In the temple worship. And then he's giving 4 kinds of delicious foods, licked, chewed, drunk, and sucked. So when you offer to the Lord, right, everything should not be dry. There should be some dry, some halfway dry and wet, something which you can lick, something which you can drink, rasam, sambar, whatever, right? And something which is sucked. So you should give him some nice fruits that he can suck and eat. So all, you cannot just give dry food or only wet food. All 4 varieties should be there. Hear and chant about conjugal pastimes of Radhika and Madhava. That's another thing. Spiritual master does it. And when he does it, we see him, we also get inspired. He is expert in assisting the gopis who make different tasteful arrangements for Radha and Krishna's activities. So, which means your garland should be perfect. Whatever you cook for Krishna should be perfect. You should take bath and do those things so that your stink doesn't go into the food. I mean, you should know this, right? By now, that you cannot cook anything for Radha and Krishna without taking bath. Otherwise, your body stink will go into the food. So you should be pure first and wear fresh clothes before cooking for Krishna, which means you'll be changing clothes many times a day. It's not like the same thing from morning till night. Although some of us who are working outside tend to do that. So you should take bath minimum 2 times, sometimes 3 times. Sannyasis are 3 times. He is to be honored as much as the Supreme Lord. That's exactly what we read, right? Honored, deserves to get as much respect as Krishna. Ultimately, when Prabhupada translates something, he's not writing from his own knowledge. He is going through these Acharya's songs and he's getting knowledge from there, which is what an Acharya does. He doesn't make any new stuff. He goes to what originally Krishna said or what the previous good Acharyas said, bona fide, as they say. Right? Not a bad Acharya. Bad Acharya will start manipulating stuff. One receives the benediction of Krishna. So you should first please the spiritual master, because spiritual master will bless you so that you can get benediction of Krishna. And at least 3 times you should offer respect. When you wake up, then around noontime, and again in the evening, you should go respect to till such time that you have spiritual master. You should pay respects to Srila Prabhupada, because he is the Parampara Acharya, unbroken from Krishna himself. So whoever loudly recites this beautiful spiritual prayer to spiritual master at the Brahma Muhurta obtains direct service to Krishna, which means directly Krishna is happy. We usually don't do at Brahma Muhurta, we'll do like 1 hour plus. So we will, write a program. Brahma Muhurta is equal to Brahma Muhurta plus 1. Right? Do you write such programs or no? I'll show you what I wrote. So if you don't feel like chanting, at least let the machine chant for you. While chant is less than 100,000, print chant is equal to chant plus 1. And when you run this, it will chant for you. It is chanting right now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. So machines are better than us. They won't stop. They'll continuously chant. But we will stop. All right? So, coming back. Spiritual master therefore deserves as much respect as Krishna. So if you say, okay, Krishna, I'm praying to you, but then when some devotee enters into the room, senior devotee, you don't pay respects, Krishna is very unhappy. Because he's saying, Sakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. I mean, if it's a good spiritual master, he is knowing all the scriptures by heart. And he knows me as Krishna. Right? So we have to respect senior. I mean, you have to respect everybody, even an ant you have to respect. But senior devotees deserve special respect. Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrena Pramane.
Guru Krishna Rupahana Shastrena Pramane.
Guru Rupa Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakti Gane.
Guru Rupe Krishna Kripa Karena Bhakta Gane.
According to the deliberate opinion of all revealed scriptures. What does revealed mean? What is revealed?
Which is spoken by Krishna.
No, let's go by English information.
Mm.
It's secret information. So you make that secret known to others.
Mm.
Right? So revealed scriptures means previously only Krishna knew this, but he revealed it through scriptures. So the spiritual master is non-different from Krishna. Sakshat Dharetvena Samasta Shastre Yuktastata Bhavyata Eva Sadhi Kintu Prabhurya Priya Eva Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. So he knows all the Shastras by heart. Number 7. He is to be honored as much as spiritual Lord because he is the confidential servitor of the Lord. This is acknowledged in revealed scriptures. So Shakshat Dharitvena Samasta Shastra. What are the Shastras saying? That Kintu Prabhurya Priya Tasya Vande Guru Sri Charanarvindam. Kintu Prabhurya Priya Tasya. So this spiritual master is very dear to you, Priya. Right? Normally, Priya, we think like our wife or girlfriend or whatever, right? Priya. No. Priya means dear to the Lord here. So, Vande Guru. Vande means Namaskaram. Guru to Charanara to his feet. Okay, Shiva.
Perfect. The relationship of a disciple with his spiritual master is as good as his relationship with the Supreme Lord. A spiritual master always represents himself as the humblest servitor of the personality of Godhead, but the disciple must look upon him as the manifest representation of Godhead.
Yeah. So, spiritual master will think, I am a very humble servant. Disciples should say, oh, he's as good as God. Right?
Yeah.
And when you become a spiritual master, you should think, I am nothing, I am nonsense. But your disciples will think that you are a very important person. You see the difference?
Yeah.
You should never think I am great. Let others
Correct.
think you are great, if you are really great, that is.
Mm.
Acharyam mam vijaniyan
Acharyam Mam Vijaniyan
nava manyeta karhichit
Nava Manyeta Karhisit
namartha buddhya suyeta
Namartya Buddhya Suyeta
sarva deva mayo guruhu.
Sarva Deva Mayo Guruhu.
One should know that Acharya is myself and never disrupts him in any way. See, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, one should know that Acharya is same as me and never disrespect him in any way. One should not envy him. Like, spiritual masters may, in service of the Lord, build a big temple. You should not think, oh, this guru is enjoying so much. He has built a big temple and is sitting in that big temple. No. That is also a sign of envy. Thinking him to be an ordinary man, for he is the representative of all devatas, demigods. Okay, this is not by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is by Lord Krishna himself, not as a devotee. Okay, Sarvana?
Yes, Prabhu. Read. Prabhu, one question in this translation.
Hmm.
So one should know the Acharya as myself in the sense, again, so the Vedic, inside the Vedic knowledge, there are many Acharyas, right? So in different,
Yeah, they're
uh,
all the expansions. Remember, he said that what
yeah,
six in one model. Krishna himself,
right.
the spiritual masters, even the devotees. If you are a good devotee, you are non different than Krishna from a qualitative perspective, not quantitative. Little bit, but you can never compete with God Himself.
Yeah. No, no, what I meant was, so we should never disrespect the acharyas, which means in all the, so that is applicable to all the four sampradayas as well, right? So we should not
Yeah.
disrespect
So
any acharyas.
we respect everybody, right? We
Yeah.
always like
But
when Chinajay Swami comes, we allow him to give a class. We respect
yeah,
everybody. Of course,
but
their
what about other?
practices may be a little different and their
Yeah,
seriousness may be a little different because if you see many of the Sri Vaishnavas, they will wear a dhoti, they'll put a tilak, and they will do the puja. And in the weekend, they may drink some alcohol because they are not
yeah,
following the four regulative principles.
right.
And I know at least one person who does that. He,
Hmm.
he has done puja in our temple to Balaji when he comes. I mean, there are some good people also, like Srinivas Kedam. He's like he follows the four regulative principles. But
Yeah.
I know at least one person who actually takes alcohol,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
I mean, you respect them to the degree in which they are following, right?
Yeah.
So if
But
they're
what
not
about the
following,
other?
then you still respect them. You don't disrespect them, but you don't learn from them. Otherwise, then you will start drinking alcohol too.
No, no, no. What I meant was, Prabhu, what about the other religions? So because we don't know, right? So we don't know.
Yeah,
They
but
are
other
out of.
religions are not following Supreme Personality of Godhead. They made Jesus into God and are praying to Him.
Right. Yeah.
So if they don't know who God is, then what is the
Mhm.
question of? But anyway, you should still respect them. You should not disrespect them. Even an ant, you should respect, right?
Okay, Prabhu.
Yeah. So other religions are only subsets. They don't know the full knowledge.
Hmm.
Okay, continue reading.
Shall I start? Yeah,
Yeah.
purport. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 17th chapter, 27th verse, spoken by Lord Krishna when he was questioned by Uddhava regarding the four social and spiritual orders of society. The Lord was specifically instructing how a brahmachari should behave under the care of a spiritual master. A spiritual master is not an enjoyer of facilities offered by his disciples. He is like a parent. Without the attentive service of his parents, a child cannot grow to manhood. Similarly, without the care of the spiritual master, one cannot rise to the plane of transcendental service. The spiritual master is also called Acharya or a transcendental professor of spiritual science. The Manu Samhita 2.140 explains the duties of an Acharya, describing that a bona fide spiritual master accepts charge of disciples, teaches them the Vedic knowledge with all its intricacies, and gives them their second birth. The ceremony performed to initiate a disciple into the study of spiritual science is called Upaniti, or the function that brings one nearer to the spiritual master. One who cannot be brought nearer to a spiritual master cannot have a sacred thread, and thus he is indicated to be a Shudra. The sacred thread on the body of a Brahmana, Kshatriya, or Vaishya is a symbol of initiation by the spiritual master. It is worth noting, it is worth nothing if worn merely to boast of high parentage. The duty of the spiritual master is to initiate a disciple with a sacred thread ceremony. And after this samskara or purificatory process, the spiritual master actually begins to teach the disciple about the Vedas. A person born a Shudra is not barred from such spiritual initiation, provided he is approved by the spiritual master, who is duly authorized to award a disciple the right to be a Brahmana if he finds him perfectly qualified. In the Vayu Purana, an Acharya is defined as one who knows the import of all Vedic literature, explains the purpose of the Vedas, abides by their rules and regulations, and teaches his disciples to act in the same way. Only out of his immense compassion does the personality of Godhead reveal himself as a spiritual master. Therefore, in the dealings of an Acharya, there are no activities but those of transcendental loving service to the Lord. He is the supreme personality of servitor Godhead. It is worthwhile to take shelter of such a steady devotee who is called Ashraya Vigraha, or the manifestation or form of the Lord of whom one must take shelter. If one poses himself as an acharya but does not have an attitude of servitorship to the Lord, he must be considered an offender, and this offensive attitude disqualifies him from being an acharya. The bona fide spiritual master always engages in unalloyed devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By this test, he is known to be a direct manifestation of the Lord and a genuine representative of Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Such a spiritual master is known as Acharya Deva. Influenced by an envious temperament and dissatisfied because of an attitude of sense gratification, mundaners criticize a real Acharya. In fact, however, a bona fide Acharya is not different from the personality of Godhead, and therefore to envy such an Acharya is to envy the personality of Godhead himself. This will produce an effect subversive of transcendental realization.
Subversive means it will destroy it. So
Mhm.
transcendental realization is destroyed if we feel envy to acharyas.
As mentioned previously, a disciple should always respect the spiritual master as a manifestation of Sri Krishna, but at the same time, one should always remember that a spiritual master is never authorized to imitate the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. False spiritual masters pose themselves as identical with Sri Krishna in every respect to exploit the sentiments of their disciples, but such impersonalists can only mislead their disciples, for their ultimate aim is to become one with the Lord. This is against the principles of the devotional cult. The real Vedic philosophy is Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, which establishes everything to be simultaneously one with and different from the personality of Godhead. Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami confirms that this is the real position of a bona fide spiritual master and says that one should always think of the spiritual master in terms of his intimate relationship with Mukunda, Sri Krishna. Srila Jiva Goswami, in his Bhakti Sandarbha 213, has clearly explained that a pure devotee's observation of the spiritual master and Lord Shiva as being one with the personality of Godhead exists in terms of their being very dear to the Lord, not identical with Him in all respects. Following in the footsteps of Srila Raghunatha Dasa Goswami and Srila Jiva Goswami, later acharyas like Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura have confirmed the same truths. In his prayers to the spiritual master, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura confirms that all the revealed scriptures accept the spiritual master to be identical with the personality of Godhead because he is a very dear and confidential servant of the Lord. Gaudiya Vaishnavas therefore worship Srila Gurudeva, the spiritual master, in the light of his being the servitor of the personality of Godhead. In all the ancient literatures of devotional service and in the more recent songs of Srila Narottama Dasa Thakura, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, and other unalloyed Vaishnavas, the spiritual master is always considered either one of the confidential associates of Srimati Radharani or a manifested representation of Srila Nityananda Prabhu.
Yeah. So associates, like you may say, these are all manjaris. Sometimes they say, right? These are all
Yeah,
manjaris who came down as spiritual masters, like Rupa Manjari. Gopis rarely come down. They only come when Krishna comes, but once in a while Manjaris come down, like Rupa Goswami is Rupa Manjari, like that. Manjaris are assistants of gopis, and then spiritual masters are assistants of these Manjaris. And sometimes they are taught as a representation of Nityananda Prabhu, right? And you can see them in Narottam Das, Bhaktivinoda Thakur songs. So, servitor, this is a very important point, right? Spiritual master is a servitor of the God. Although he is to be respected as God, he himself is a servitor, servant of God. And we are servants of the servants. शिक्षा गुरु केता जानी कृष्णेर स्वरूपम
Shiksha Guru Keta Jani Krishnera Swarupa
अंतर्यामी भक्त श्रेष्ठ ए द्विरूपम.
Antaryami Bhakta Shreshtat Ei Rupa.
One should know that the instructing spiritual master to be personality of Krishna. Lord Krishna manifests himself as the super soul and as the greatest devotee of the Lord. Right? He's the greatest devotee of Krishna, coming as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Like if you look in Andhra, a lot of people name their kids as Chaitanya. That comes from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but they have forgotten that. Chaitanya has become a common name, but without reference to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Okay. So Shiva did this.
Srila Krishnadasa Kaviraja Goswami states that the instructing spiritual master is a bona fide representative of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna himself teaches us as the instructing spiritual master from within and without. From within, he teaches as Paramatma or constant companion, and from without, he teaches from the Bhagavad Gita as the instructing spiritual master. There are two kinds of instructing spiritual masters. One is the liberated person fully absorbed in meditation in devotional service, and the other is he who invokes the disciple's spiritual consciousness by means of relevant instructions. Thus he instructs he instructs he instructs in the science of devotion and differentiated in terms of the objective and subjective ways of understanding. The Acharya, in the true sense of term, who is authorized to deliver Krishna, enriches the disciple with full spiritual knowledge and thus awakens him to the activities of devotional service. When by learning from the self-realized spiritual master, one actually engages himself in the service of Lord Vishnu, punctual devotional service begins. The procedures of these devotional service are known as abhideya, or actions one is duty bound to form. Our only shelter is the Supreme Lord, and one who teaches how to approach Krishna is the functioning form of the personality of Godhead. There is no difference between the shelter-giving Supreme Lord and the initiating and instructing spiritual masters. If one foolishly discriminates between them, he commits an offensive in the discharge of devotional service. Srila Sanatana Goswami is the ideal spiritual master, for he delivers one the shelter of the lotus feet of Madana Mohana. Even though one may be unable to travel on the field of Vrindavan due to forgetfulness of his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he can get an adequate opportunity to stay in Vrindavana and derive all spiritual benefits by the mercy of Sanatana Goswami. Sri Govindaji acts exactly like the Siksa Guru, instructing spiritual master by teaching Arjuna the Bhagavad Gita. He is the original preceptor, for he gives us instructions and an opportunity to serve him. The initiating spiritual master is a professional manifestation of Srila Madana Mohana Vigraha, whereas the instructing spiritual master is the personal representative of Srila Govinda Deva Vigraha. Both of these deities are worshipped at Vrindavana Srila Gopinatha is the ultimate attraction in spiritual realization.
Yeah, so there are three very good things said, right? Govindaji acts as, what does he act as?
Siksha Guru.
Shiksha Guru, instructing spiritual master. right? The initiating spiritual master, personal manifestation of Srila Madana Mohana Vigraha, right, is this manifestation. Instructing spiritual master, personal representative of Govinda Deva Vigraha. So Govinda Ji or Srila Govinda Deva Vigraha. And ultimate attraction of spiritual realization is who?
Gopinath. Srila
Gopinath.
Radha Gopinath.
Yeah. Gopinath. Sakala tumhare hai. That's one of the songs by Acharyas. Everything is you, Gopinath, like that. So we have to understand this. There is a function of instructing spiritual master, Govindev. There is a function of initiating spiritual master, personal manifestation of Madan Mohana Vigraha. And ultimate attraction in spiritual realization is Srila Gopinath. So if you go to Vrindavan, these are the three temples, main temples. There are, of course, around 5,000 small temples, but these are the main temples. This will give you the understanding of devotion. Of course, if you go to Vrindavan, people say, oh, I'm going to Banke Bihari temple, which is a traditional temple. That's all good. But ultimately, everything has to flow through these three forms. And then finally, we come to spiritual realization. We'll do one more and stop. Naivopayanti apachittim kavayasthavesha.
Naivopatiyante apachitam kavayasthavesa.
Brahma yusapi kritam riddha muda smaranantha.
Brahma yusvapi kritam radha muda smaranta.
Yo antarbahistanu ashubham vidunavan.
Yonatar bahistanu vratam asubham vidunaman.
Acharya chaitya vapusa swagatim vyanakti.
Acharya Chaitya Vapusa Svagatam Vyanakti.
O my Lord, transcendental poets, experts in spiritual science could not fully express their indebtedness to you. It is actually very difficult to describe our relationship with God. Right? It's difficult to describe God and difficult to express our relationship also. Even if they were endowed with prolonged lifetime of Brahma lives for a very long time. They're saying even if you give such long life, they cannot express their indebtedness. Like we are in debt to God because He has given us so many things. He has given us a body, given us oxygen, given us food, so many things, right? For you appear in two features, externally as the Acharya and internally as the Super Soul. So Lord appears in two features, Acharya and Super Soul. Internally as Paramatma, He is instructing you and me. And externally He is instructing as Acharya. To deliver the embodied living being by directing him on how to come to you. Right? So to deliver the embodied living being, the Lord is appeared in two features. Right? You notice the difference in English and in Sanskrit, the subject and object are reversed. So that's why I have to take the second sentence and put it front to talk in English. In Sanskrit, the subject comes first, the object comes first, and then subject comes later. Just a point to note. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam was spoken by Sri Uddhava after he heard from Krishna all the necessary instructions about yoga. Right? In the 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Uddhava Gita, it is called. Uddhava is again reiterating the essence of Bhagavad Gita, but in a different language. That's why you see these long shlokas, right? So he's saying that you appear as externally as Acharya, internally as Paramatma, to deliver the living being how to come to us. Okay, now let's chant. That is the class for today. And